What else? I really like movies and series. I am a movie addict, I guess. And yes, that's it.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope we have a nice conversation this evening. And Gabi introduced herself. Let's go with you, Igor. Oh, I'm sorry, you are grabbing a bite.
Gabi first?
Yeah, you can talk about yourself.
Okay. Eu estava esperando ela. Good evening, everybody. My name is Igor. I'm 36. I live in Salvador. I have a dog. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm married. And that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Igor. And what is your field? You said you are an entrepreneur. What is your business?
Yeah, I have an the people say startup in Brazil. We work with the healthcare.
Oh, that is amazing. I wish you a lot of success in your business, and of course, keep coming here to practice with us, okay? And the second question, I always make this mistake. The second question, have you had the experience of talking to non-native English speakers? If so, how was it? Gabi, can you start?
I think we are having the experience to talk with no native English speakers. I don't know. I think I always have difficult to talk in English, but I think the mainly because I'm feel ashamed to the judges, and I think it's a kind of difficult for me. But I think like now I found a possibility to talk more comfortable with you guys, and yeah, I think it's been good to talk with you.
Yeah, can you believe I completely forgot about us? When I was writing the questions, I was thinking about people outside from the US or the UK, but I forgot about me, them. I'm a non-native speaker. But did you have this experience with other people, like from, I don't know, countries?
I work in a French company, so I already have the experience to talk with a French accent, and it's very difficult, at least for me. Sometimes they don't. It is not this far. They don't. How can I say that? Eles não facilitam to talk with a way that is easy to us to understand,
Yeah, I think it is kind of cute, the accent sometimes, but it can make it hard to understand, especially when they are not trying enough, because sometimes it's a matter of, oh, my culture is because I'm French, so I'm not giving this up. But it's not like you shouldn't learn to make yourself understood. That is the point here.
Yeah.
I totally understand. And how about you, Fernando?
Yeah, basically just with Brazilians, talking about non-native speakers and some native speakers as well, but yeah, just Brazilians. Never spoke to people from other countries.
Yeah, that is interesting. I always try to, my perspective is really based on Brazilian people because that's mostly mainly the experience that I have, but I've talked with foreigners from other places, and it is like so rich, the culture, the mix, because people bring a lot of things from their own culture to the way they express themselves in English. And I think that's awesome. I remember that I was seeing a lady on a random video on Instagram, and I could tell she was Brazilian, and I was so proud of myself because I was like, oh my gosh, do I sound like this? But she sounded great, by the way. But for me, when you can recognize someone by the accent, it's not bad sign. It's like this person shows something else. It's not uh, completely about English, but they show
Yeah,
they express themselves in a different way that you can tell. And as a Brazilian person, I related to her with the mistake she almost made while she was speaking, with the T, the way she pronounced T at the end of the word. I was, oh, this girl is Brazilian. So for me,
yeah.
I felt so proud.
Yeah,
But she
I can
was
relate to
great.
that too. I when I'm watching some video, I can notice that, and I think it's amazing too. It's like um, our ID, you know. Yeah, and that's great. And I would like to speak to people from other countries. I think it would be interesting uh, to uh, to communicate, because I know that there are some accents that is difficult that are difficult for me. For example, the Indian accent. I struggle a lot with that accent, and maybe it's not because, yeah, of course, it's not because they are non-native, because I also struggle with the Australian accent. It's a matter of get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, that is true. And when we say non-native, we tend to think anyone outside the US or UK, but like you said, Australia, a lot of countries also have English as a native language. But I think the cinema, the movies made us think that the native accent would be just these two, but we have a lot of other options to remember and even to follow if you like the accent. Why not to try to speak like them, or at least inspire yourself, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Eagle? Have you had the experience?
Yeah, when I was in Canada, I was very insecure to talk in English. And a Chinese man called to me to ask other things. So I didn't understand nothing. Nothing. So I see that he's a Chinese. So I try to explain about it, what I was understand in the moment. So that's it.
Yeah, I think my worst nightmare would be if someone asked me for information because I cannot give. Even here, I've been living here for 27 years, and I'm always like, oh, you go all the way straight, and
Mm-hmm,
then
mm-hmm. Yeah,
so bad.
I didn't spoken with nothing in Toronto at like this time when they call when he called me. So after this moment, I can speak a lot of a lot of things with a lot of people in Toronto. I could see that I know I can have a communication with the other people in this moment. when I see that in Toronto have a lot of people that don't can communication with all the people. That was very interesting for me.
Yeah, that is awesome. I bet you learned a lot in this experience, and you could interact with different accents. So you have a lot to share in this conversation for sure. So the next question, let's talk about ourselves, because it's easy to say, oh, this accent or that accent, but let's bring some reflection. How do you feel about your own accent? Fernando, therapy section now.
Yeah, I feel good about my accent. I think there are two things very near, very close each other, that are accent and pronunciation, and sometimes I don't like some points of my pronunciation, but not my accent, and it's easy to mix them up sometimes. But I feel good about my accent. Is my ID, as I said. So that's no reason to don't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, that is good, but it's something we learn, right? It is a journey. First, you are self-conscious, you think, oh my gosh, is it bad? Is it understandable? But I think with time we get better. We get more confidence, and after you have the experience of being understood, you feel pretty okay about your accent.
Yeah,
And I agree with you. Go ahead.
Especially in the beginning, we think that we are just speaking English if we speak with that accent. We are almost teach to think like that, which is crazy, totally crazy. But we get some people get traumatized during this process because of that. I don't have a good word for this even in Portuguese, but it's a difficult process for everyone.
Yeah, and even the advertisements also spread this idea that you should speak like a native. We also have a question related to that, but I can say that now I feel way better about my accent, because I think people can totally tell that I'm Brazilian, but I don't mind. I think it is amazing because I can speak two languages, so that's very good for me. And also because I feel like it is so nice to not speak like everybody else, even the people in their country, like US or UK, they speak differently. Have you heard someone from Texas? It's very different from New York, for example. So it is, we can always learn, and the accents are not something we should be ashamed of, or, oh my gosh, I should hide this because it shows that I'm different, But it's a learning process. Like I said, at first you feel an outsider or weird somehow, but it's great.
Yeah.
After the experiences you have with the language. At least that's my perspective, of course. What do you think, Gabi? Do you feel happy about your accent?
I think I'm feel happy. I agree with Fernando. I think there's a difference between accents and pronunciations. Pronunciation. I think we sometimes have more difficult to pronunciations a word, but sometimes we have a mistake that the problem is our accents, and sometimes it is not the problems of accents. I already have the experience to talk with a teacher that she she live in Salvador, Bahia, but it was funny because the accent, tipo, she lose their own accent, you know, speaking in English, and when she talk with me in Portuguese, like, oh my God, you're living Bahia, like, and I don't know if this happens with me. I think it's not, but I think it is. This is funny. Like sometimes the person change, or I don't know if it's change, but they got change your own accents to talking in English.
Yeah, that is very true. I remember when I see someone here from Rio, here, I can notice sometimes because of a word specifically. They say the R is different, you know, the S sound sometimes. So I think these guys from Rio even know they speak in English. That's very interesting. That is a great contribution, Gabi. Thank you so much. And to you, Igor.
I'm feeling comfortable because I think the other people want to understand me. So if the other people, the other person are understanding me, I'm okay. So I I tend to think about it when I was have a conversation with other people. So the accent for me it's okay.
I'm happy to know that. We need more people like you, because sometimes I'm on Instagram and I read comments like, oh, your accent is showing, you know, especially when you are a native teacher and you are speaking in English, and someone is like, oh, you shouldn't be teaching because you have an accent yourself. So I'm like, and what, you know, that it's so nonsense. It's crazy how people sometimes can just assume you should speak in a certain way to teach English and to help others, right?
Yes, I always ask to other people, are you understanding me? I people, yeah.
So
And,
we
that's
found,
okay. Continue to talk about.
yeah, that is the goal, and nothing else. It's more important than that. You are
Yeah.
correct. So would you like to read the next question, Eagle, and comment, of course? Question number
Next
4.
question.
Mhm.
Have you chosen a specific accent to mimic in English? To mimic in English? Is there an easier accent to learn? Yes, the pronunciation is correct.
What do you think about this question?
Um, no, no. I think the my I want to make to other people understand me. It's my my objetivo. How to say objetivo in English?
You can say
My my
goal.
goal. Yeah. It's my goal. So I don't want to mimic it. English accent.
Yeah. Do you think there is some accent that is easier to imitate, like US maybe, or UK? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I never tried to, I never tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is
I I can see uh, that the accent of the black Americans is different. It's very very fast. Always when I was talking with my friends, my black friends from USA, I always I was talking about speak slowly with me. So I think it's only the accent that I know, I think, but I never to try to mimic that.
Yeah, I understand you. It sounds like a different language sometimes, the way they speak, slangs, and also the shorting the words, right? Like creating new dialogues, new ways to communicate. It's very interesting. They have a lot of researches about it. You should take a look just to understand. And you, Fernando? How about yourself?
I didn't choose a specific accent, but I think it's easier for me to understand the American accent because of the movies, series, music, basically every content that I've been consuming since I was a kid. So it's easy to my ears, but I don't think I sound like an American, of course not. But I think some words, it's more near to the American accent than, for example, the British. I cannot imitate the British accent. It's very difficult for me. So yeah. But that's sorry, Sarah. But as Igor said, the important is the communication, you know, so it's all about communication. In the beginning, we are so afraid of making mistakes and sound different, but it's just about communication. It's a language. The goal of the language is to communicate. So yeah.
Yeah, you are 100% right. And I'm just like you, I cannot mimic the British accent. I was watching a course about IPA pronunciation and so on, and the professor was British, and I was struggling to talk like him because it's so unnatural to me, because my entire life, or even since ever since I've been learning English, it's always American in my head. This about it, for example, you say about it, you don't say, I cannot say in another way, you know, the connection with the words. So I think it is the first thing that came to my mind because of the TV shows, music as well. So everything is very more, I'm closer to American accent, I guess, and to American culture references than British. I actually don't know a lot about British TV shows. I don't follow so often, you know. So for me, American accent was something natural, and that was my life in a nutshell, I guess. And you, Gabi? Oh, go ahead. Just
sorry.
comment.
I know some expressions, some British expressions, but with the American accent. It's kind of crazy because I learned from one side but I cannot speak like that. Difficult, and I know that our courses and like I speak like a British speaker, and that's crazy. That's kind of funny, but it's interesting because I also think it's very beautiful, the accent. So I would like to learn that, but I don't know. It's a lot of time. It sounds like a waste of time.
Yeah, having to change everything that you know already is like learning from scratch again in a way, you know. So I wouldn't do that. But if you want, why not? Gabi, you're next.
Next question or same question?
You didn't answer, right? So you can go
Okay.
now.
No, for me it's the same. The US accents for me is more naturally since the school and all these things. It's funny because like when I tried to watch in some movies or series on Netflix, I put if it is a British movie, I need to put the subtitles in English because it's very difficult like listen something and understood what they are saying. And I think, but I think it's interesting because like the British accents brings with us a culture, you know, a culture. The culture is different, and the ways that they talk and the ways of they are talk with others, and I think it is different. And but I don't know. I think it's important to like for us in this moment that we are learning other language is important. Like we got some a kind of language and building our own accents. I don't know.
Yeah, can understand. Every time I'm seeing videos like, do you sound more British or American? Sometimes I find words that I say that are American or British. For example, important, this word. In American English, they say like the T in a different way that I cannot mimic, at least not for now. So I talk like the British, at least a little bit, because I cannot do they don't say the R's, they do something different that I cannot do. So I try to mix what I can one with a language and what I can with the other, and it works because people are understanding. So that's score for me. So Fernando and Gabby mentioned about pronunciation. I'd like us to discuss the question number 6, okay? How does our native accent affect their pronunciation? Gabby, can you start?
Yes. I think could affect it a lot. But I think sometimes we have more patience with no native Portuguese than we have patience like with us talking in another language, you know. Sometimes like no native Portuguese try to talk in Portuguese, and of course we know that we have accents and all these things, but if he can if he can to communicate it, we don't judge, you know. And I think we could exercise more patience that we have with the others, with us, you know. And I think is that's it. When sometimes when we talk, we don't realize that maybe we talking faster, and it's could do difficult the understand the other. I think that's it. I don't know if I explained correct, but okay.
Yeah, very clear. Thank you so much. And I agree with you. We should be more patient and, of course, understand that it's not about perfection. Of course, it is not. Igor, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it affects a lot, mainly to the lack lack of accents in the English language. For example, like a bread in Portuguese, it's difficult for a Native American speak. For example, uh, a Native American speak pão. in Portuguese. It's very difficult. So for me, that that is the difficulty to associate any word with between English language and Portuguese. I think it's that.
Yeah, that is true. Like they have some words that are tricky, right? In English, if you say the vowel sound wrong, you can get yourself in trouble. So I think that's terrible
Yeah.
because they could have changed more things, to make your life easier, but they did not. So, but I feel like for us, for example, I live in Bahia, and whenever I have to say, at first it was very hard for me to make this R, or like this, because
Yeah.
my R is like porta. I don't roll my R's in Bahia, so
Yeah,
people
yeah.
knows what I mean, But for example, if I'm speaking French, they have the R like we have in rato, and I can make this R because I'm used to. But for a native, for an American or British person, they don't have this R so strong like we have in Portuguese. So
Yeah.
depending on the language you are speaking, your accent can be helpful or maybe bring you some troubles, but not like you cannot. It's not like you can't overcome these issues. No, you can just moving on, and you are gonna learn with time. That is my opinion. And you, Fernando, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with all you guys. I think there are some issues, like how can I explain that? Sometimes it's just about the accent. For example, the TH sound. We struggle a lot with that, especially in the beginning. But it's okay to say like think or sink or there are other ways to say that everybody will understand. That's okay. But there are some things that they don't understand, like with this e sound in the end of some words. Sometimes they don't understand that. So that's not an accent problem. It's more like a pronunciation thing. And it's like Igor said, there are many words many sounds they cannot pronounce too. So it's a common situation for everyone. And
I have a difficulty with the TH. I have.
You just did it. You just did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just did it. But it's fine if you say think or sing or in another way. Everybody will understand, and it's I think that's the main goal: be understanding and be understandable. But like when we emphasize the wrong syllable, it's not an accent problem, it's a pronunciation. So those things we have to fix that will have some impact on the understanding. And I think that's how one influence the other, and that's why we mix them up so much, because they are very close each other.
And there is a great topic suggestion. I'm thinking about bringing in a part 2 for this conversation because it's very enriching, to me, and I think you guys can learn as well. And of course, the syllables is something that is very Brazilian to say like worky, speaky, something like this. And you learn with time to just cut the syllables. I don't know. But it's kind of cute. I think sometimes it's it's nice. And also the TH sound. For example, I was listening to some audios to study, and I searched for the word thought, but in some sounds native they sounded like fought, fought like in a fight, and I was okay. They are saying so like this, it's so similar. I shouldn't be so self-conscious about my pronunciation all the time. Of course, it is important, but they also have the similarities, when they are speaking, they can get confused and just say it again and keep the conversation going. That is the most important part. So our time is finishing, but I think we can make one last question. Do you guys would like to choose our final question?
I think the number 8, the number 8.
Yeah, I like this one too.
Very interesting.
Would you like to start?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question or no?
Yeah, you can read as well.
Okay. So some professionals such as such as actors and journalists need to have any accent training. Would you something like this for your career? I think, yeah. I'm a journalist, for example. If any TV from USA contacted to me to work in New York or in other part of USA, I think yes. I don't have a problem to do that, but I need I need only to have a good communication with the people for my business, for my life. So, but if any TV or radio or other organization or company, how do you say PG in
Ask.
English? Ask, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, a company asked me to have a training, a sick training. Yes, I'm okay with that.
As long as they pay you right, the right money, why not?
Yeah, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah,
How
money in the
about
bus
you?
is important.
I'm not gonna fight you on this one. It is true.
Yeah.
What do you think, Fernando? Would you do like something like this?
Yeah, if I was in a profession that I need to do that to get some job, I would do that. Because, for example, actors, sometimes they have to play a role of a person from Texas, and which will be different than a person from New York, for example. So it's something that I have to do for your job. You don't have this option of deny it because it makes sense. But in my case, there is no point.
Yeah, I get it. Like the Spider-Man, do you know him? The newest, Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I don't know. He is British, but Spider-Man is American, so I was so impressed with his accent because you cannot tell he's British just by watching his interviews. After you can, but with the film, you think he's American, so it is awesome. I don't know
Yeah.
if I could be so good at another accent, because mastering one accent, it's hard enough, let alone two. I don't know. And you, Gabi?
I confess that I never thought about it, but I agree with you, Sarah. I don't know if I have the ability to to change my accent, and but I don't know, like some actors that have to change their accents, mainly about like sometimes, how can I say that, because it's maybe it's called a polemic topic, but sometimes we don't have representatividade, you know, like you prefer ask it to an actor to change your accents and be to do any accents, to choose an actor in this the region, you know, the native region. So I think it's a complicated, but I think maybe I could try to change my accent.
Yeah, now I definitely need to have a part 2 because I was hoping someone would bring this, you know, about the people being left out. For example, here in the Northeast, we have a lot of great actors, but sometimes if they want to make a novel or something, TV show, for example, they choose someone from São Paulo and they ask them to change the accent, and it sounds so unnatural sometimes, if I'm being honest. So that is something that I would like to for us to discuss as well. What do you guys think about part 2 on this topic? Maybe some different topics or different perspective, same topic, but a different perspective.
Yeah, that should be great. The time has run by so quickly. I couldn't notice, and there are so many good points to discuss in this conversation. This one is a very good one, and there are many others. So great topic.
Yeah, I think you brought the perfect definition about being our ID, you know, the accent. So that's why I wanted to bring in the first place, and that's why I want to make a part 2 in the next weeks. And the guys are back. Thank you so much, Gabi and Igor and Fernando. That was a great conversation as always. And I have here the guys with me one more time. Vito, hello. You're from
Hi, good
Spanish, right?
evening. Yes,
Okay. First time I see you here. Welcome. How was the
thank you.
conversation, by the way?
The conversation was really great. It's been a while since I've been out of TNT, and this is my first meeting of the year, and it's really great to be here with you.
Yeah, that is my pleasure as well. I hope you come back, okay? Keep coming back to us. That is awesome. So I'm gonna give the bomb to one of you, the question number 5. About this whole speaking like a oh my gosh, like a native. Sorry, speak like a native thing, you know. So what's your perspective on advertisements using this message, speak like a native? Bruno, you are the chosen one.
Oh, I don't know. We don't answer this question. Interesting. I think that I forgot that. I don't know. Maybe this is just a market phrase to bring people to the course or something like that. As the phrase in the question number 7, we can respect the other's accent. And speak like a native to me is to be understood from the others. And I don't know. I think that's it.
Yeah, that is a great point. And there are a lot of natives, right? We often think about the US or UK, but they have Australia, other countries that we don't even know also have English as an official language. So this native stuff, it's bigger than we think. And Ayla, do you agree with him? Have something to add about this same question?
About this question, I don't know. I think it's a fake, a fake advertisement, because it's very difficult to, even though when people speak very well, I think it's difficult to achieve the same way the native speaker but I'm not too sure. I think it depends on the person, but I think it's hard to be able to this. But in general, I consider this a fake advertisement.
Fair enough. It also depends on the goal, right? If you are willing to work, like we were talking about question number 8, having accent training for specific purpose, that could work as well, but like having this whole idea of speaking like a native just because sometimes it could be like advertisement, like Bruno mentioned. Very good, guys. And we're not gonna have the survey today because we are facing some issues. Okay, that's why I didn't share with you. We have some minutes just to finish. I'm gonna ask Vicky the last question. Okay, let me choose one. Okay, we're talking about the difference between accent and pronunciation. Okay, question number 6. How does our native accent affect our pronunciation? What do you think, Vicky?
Okay, I don't know if it's really affects us because if the person has a good English, like know how to speak to another person, the other person can understand what they are talking, I believe it's enough. We don't have to like think, oh my god, the pronunciation or the accent. If it's okay, if the English is all right, it's everything okay. So I don't believe it's like something that really matter, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. Thank you, Vicky. I agree with you. I was talking about the R's, you know, because here in my state and Igor as well, we don't say porta, we say porta. So the R was a little bit hard for me at first, but I think depends on how you're going to approach the language, you know. If you had a good training, you could overcome these issues as well. So next week, we're gonna be again one more time. I would like to thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Gabriela, Igor, Jefferson, Heitor, Fernando, Bruno, Vitor, Ayla, Natalia, Vicky, and Robert. And I think that's all for today. See you next time, okay? Take care. And I don't know, drink water. It is important. Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
See you
Thank you.
next
Thank
Bye-bye.
you
time.
so much,
You
guys.
have a
Bye-bye.
nice
Have a
night.
nice
Bye.
week.
Bye.